stampnation.com. We have had an amazing week on blog and on Stamp Nation celebrating the 3rd birthday for Stamp Nation. Just 3 years ago, the doors opened and Stamp Nation has become an incredible source of inspiration, learning, sharing, and just pure awesomeness. If you're not a member yet, you better make sure you join pretty quick because you're gonna love it, I promise. But anyway, today is our last day of featuring sponsors, and it's Avery Elle today. So we have a stamp set and matching dies to go with it. So meet me at the stamp table and we'll get started. But first, I gotta tell you how to enter to win, right? Be sure you're a subscriber on my YouTube channel and leave a comment on this video on YouTube. That gives you one entry. If you're a Stamp Nation member and you mention it in your comment, that gives you a second entry. So go ahead and enter to win. Good luck and meet me at the stamp table. I made this birthday card in October for my daughter, and I had so much fun making it, and I've had plans this whole time to show you how to do it, and I haven't yet, so now is the perfect time. The first thing we're going to do is stamp the little frosting from Avery Elle, and when I first started coloring with Copic Markers back in the spring, I really wanted a fun cupcake stamp set, and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I finally found this one by Avery Elle that I just adored. I think it's so stinking cute. I'm going to use E25 and E29 to color in the frosting, and of course we need chocolate. We have our cupcake icing all colored in and looking delicious. It's time to cut this out and get a cupcake liner. On this one I use Pool Party cardstock, and I think that might be Pool Party ink from Stampin' Up, and this stamp right here from All Squared Up by Avery Elle, and I just stamped my own cupcake liner. On this one I have a fun paper pack. This is actually a holiday paper pack, and I was kind of going through it looking for what I thought would be a really fun cupcake liner, and I was just taking the little die and putting it up to some of the patterns to see what was most pleasing to me. So I'm lining the framelits up with the stamped images, or the stamped image in the cupcake liner. And before I move on, I almost forgot to color this little flower. I'm going to start with my really light blue, B00, and I'm going to add some B04. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that 02. We will see how the 04 and the 00 blend together. Now that I have my little flower cut out and my cupcake liner, I'm not sure if I love this color. I cut out another one. I may use this instead, but as I put the card together, I will decide. So I have two to choose from. The fun thing is there are so many different things you can do there. Now I have a really cool background here that's really subtle, but it's kind of watermarked and almost a little bit textured, and I'll show you how I achieved that. I have the Worn Lipstick Distress Ink, and I'm just going to cover this entire piece of white cardstock with the Distress Ink. This is Whisper White cardstock by Stampin' Up. I'm finding the trick to not get splotchy marks is to be not so heavy-handed with it. So usually I like to start off the edge of my paper and come onto the cardstock so that I don't get a big mark like that. But then in the center, it's hard to get it really nice and full of color. So I find if you just come in and very gently and softly start coloring with a circular motion, you don't get those splotch marks on your cardstock. So now I have achieved the look that I want, and I'm going to do background stamping. I have a Hero Arts stamp here. This is called Bursts. I don't have a block big enough for this, so I have a giant Fiskars stamp press. So I'm just going to add that on there, ink up my stamp, and stamp it down. You can see the ink is wet, and as it dries, we're going to get a really cool look. Now we have just a few things to finish off this card. We'll adhere all the layers together. I have an early espresso layer that's 4 by 5 1/4, and then I think the pink is a 1/2 inch smaller than that. We'll just add this to a white card base. So I am changing my design up a little bit from the original. Show you a different design idea. I've taken the Starburst framelit dies from Stampin' Up! And I cut out a coordinating pattern from the same paper pack that I used the Cupcake liner for. And I'm just going to do a double piece here because I'm going to do one of those little clips, and I want this to be really sturdy. I don't want it to like warp or mess up the designer paper because it's so thin. I'll just do a little ribbon accent on the arrow paper clip, which is so cute. And then a little liquid glue on the back here. I have my greeting piece, and I used the You're the Icing on my cupcake because I thought that was so adorable. I really love the font on that. Now I just have a little strip of white. I tried doing the sentiment on each side, and I thought the balance was better with the greeting on the left. And I made it 4 1/4 inches wide so it would go from edge to edge on the card. And now we'll put the cupcake together, and since that little strip of cardstock is up on dimensionals, this is going to be hanging off the edge there. So we're just going to glue it right to the strip, but then the bottom of it needs dimensionals so it'll pop up and not get all squishy and weird. And the same with the cupcake. And now a little finishing touch, I'm going to take some dazzling details. This is basically glitter glue. And I can do just the center, but I think I want a whole sparkly flower, so I'm going to cover the whole flower with the dazzling details. A few dots of glue, just for some added sparkle and fun. I think that'll do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's card tutorial. It may be a little bit longer than I usually do. If you would like to win this cupcake stamp set and die, be sure to comment on this video on YouTube. If you are a Stamp Nation member, also be sure to mention that so you can get an extra entry. And Stamp Nation members, hop over to Stamp Nation because I'm going to be using some more Avery Elle products to make some more fun cards for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Happy stamping!